Hey dolls, it's Anastasia Lulu. Welcome back to my channel. Today I'm going to be talking to you all about how I manifested my move to London from Portland, Maine. I am going to give you guys my advice on how to manifest a big move, a big change, a big promotion, anything in your own life. Before we get into that good stuff, grab a crystal and join me with this affirmation. Today I have my black tourmaline crystal. This crystal acts as like a bodyguard against negative energy. I always think when you're manifesting your goals, it's important to block out any negative energy that could drag your goals, your ambitions down. I am on the right path. I am manifesting what I desire every step that I take. I am brilliant. I am creative. I am needed on this earth and will continue to keep evolving. Even if I can't see it at the moment, everything is working in my favor. Okay, so let's rewind to like 6 years ago. I was living in my parents' house. I was a nanny. I was in university. I was so far away from London, it's not even funny. I had no training in the beauty industry. I had no experience in hair and makeup. All I knew was that I had a passion for these things. And I just had this feeling that I wanted to be in London. Like it was just such a deep calling for me. It was the city of my dreams. Like, you know, I think we all have those places, whether it's New York, LA. For me, it was London, and I just knew I had to get there. So back then, like back 6 years ago, I didn't even know like what manifesting was. I am so much more like self-aware now, and I'm so much more in tuned with like my spirituality. Like I just had no idea what any of this was 6 years ago. But I look back at it and I'm like, I manifested this entire move. Like this was all sheer will, determination, and manifestation of my dreams. So it's so funny because I didn't even realize it. And I bet if you guys all look like in your own life, you'll have manifested things without you realizing it. So my number one tip when you have a dream that you want to manifest into reality is you have to be brave enough to tell everyone that is your goal. I meet so many people so many girls who are like, oh, I can't talk to my family about this. Like I can't talk to my friends about this. They're almost that scared about it that they can't even verbalize the goal. You have to be able to say, I am moving to London. I am moving to New York City. I am going to be a makeup artist. You have to be able to say those words and say them with pride and with like conviction. I think that's a really important step in manifesting anything. So that whole year before I moved to London, before I had any plan, people were like, what will you do after you graduate? You know, I had like an English degree, which everybody else, what the hell are you going to do with an English degree? And I was like, I am moving to London. I'm going to move to London and I'm going to work in the beauty industry. Again, I had no training. I had no experience. But anytime anybody asked me that, I was so confident in my answer. That was what I was doing. Another big part of manifesting a dream into reality is you have a goal and you are so focused on that goal, you can make it a reality because of the energy you put behind it. So for me, every single day I thought about London. Every single day I thought about working in the beauty industry. Every single day I thought about my dream. And so I think that's something that you know, when you're thinking of your own dreams and your own aspirations, like how badly do you want this? Because you have to want it really badly for the universe to give it to you. You learn about manifesting now, and the first step of manifesting is to create a mood board. So if you have a dream, create that mood board, create that vision board. I had this mood board. I looked at every single day. I cut out pictures of London. Again, guys, I didn't realize I was doing this. This is just because I was so obsessed. This is all I wanted to do. I did it without realizing. So I had a huge board with pictures of London. I had pictures of London Fashion Week, hairstyles, makeup, you name it, it was on this board. I even had, like, I love Amy Winehouse, so I had tons of like pictures of Camden and North London. My first flat that I got in London was in North London. You know, this was just like, I didn't even realize I was manifesting it, and I was. So everything on that board, I had a picture of like the Bleach hair salon. That was my first internship. And I had a picture of Harry Styles on it. I met him, worked with him a bunch of times, you know? So I just think the power of a mood board, the power of seeing your dreams every single day when you walk into your room is so powerful. Obviously, that's the fun part of manifesting, right? Like mood board, visualizing every single day, thinking about it, talking about it, being confident enough to walk into a room and tell people your dreams. That's the fun part. The hard part is what you're willing to sacrifice. Obviously, when you're moving out of your parents' house, when you're embarking on a new adventure, you're moving to a new city, these things cost money. These things are expensive. These things are a crazy leap of faith. So pretty much for the 2 years before my move to London, I made a lot of sacrifices. I didn't go on any holidays. I rarely went out like drinking with friends, partying. I really saved my pennies. I worked like a full-time job as well as being a full-time student, and I just saved everything. To me, it was like a no-brainer. I mean, I've never been one to go on holidays anyway, so I didn't really feel like I was missing out on something. But, you know, there were times when my friends were doing stuff and going places that I didn't do because I just felt like I had a bigger goal in mind. You know, I'd rather not do like a weekend trip and say, you know, work all weekend to move to London. Like it was just, I was so obsessed by it that it didn't really cross my mind to even indulge in like the 5 minutes of fun I would get, you know, blowing hundreds of pounds on a weekend away. And I think for a lot of people, that's probably not how they want to live. But for me, I just worked my little ass off until it became my reality. I will say though, because obviously I feel like that sounds quite daunting to listen to, since I have come to London, I've been able to, you know, live the life that I did dream about when I was in my parents' bedroom. I think it's important to remember that the sacrifice is for a short while and the reward is so much longer. So if you're thinking, oh my God, like that just sounds like it sucks. It does, it sucks. It really does suck. But the last 5 years have been amazing. So it's not even a question of how much it was worth it. So the number one question that I get asked on my DMs is like, how did I actually move to London from America? Like visas are real, the struggle is real. How did I do it? So for me, it made most sense to come over on a student visa. So I entered a master's program in London and I took out a huge loan for that. I just thought, you know what, I'm going to figure it out later. All I know is I just want to be in London. And that's what I did. So you kind of have to look at your opportunities. What can you do? You know, is there a program you could do and get on a student visa? Is there, you know, a job you can apply for that might not be your dream job, but it gives you a visa to start with? All of these things are what, again, part of the sacrificing process. And you do just have to like go for it and jump off, you know, and just make that jump. Again, of course, this is like coming from a privileged point of view. I was able to take out a loan. You know, I was able to work and live off of that. And I know that for a lot of people that is physically impossible for a number of reasons. But for me, that is what worked. Now, of course, for me, the reason I was moving to London was to work in the beauty industry and to work London Fashion Week. That was like my number one goal. I really wanted to work Fashion Week. I wanted to work in the beauty industry. I wanted to work on photo shoots and with makeup. So the year leading up to the move. Again, like I am just working all the time. I'm a student. I am obsessively thinking about London all the time. I started a blog. I started an Instagram. I started a Twitter. I started everything, all dedicated to hair and makeup. Now, if you've been following me for a long time, you'll know that like I was super into the whole punk scene. Like I said, I was obsessed with Amy Winehouse. I loved like kind of alternative beauty, hair, makeup, like loved it all. And so to me, like Bleach London was totally doing like the coolest of cool stuff at the time. And so I just angled all of my social media towards the content that Bleach liked. So I created connections in London through social media, through Bleach London, through this niche market that I knew I wanted to be a part of. And I think that that's so important. Like I think social media is such an amazing tool to make connections before you go somewhere, because it's so daunting. Like imagine moving to New York City and not knowing anybody. Like social media provides you a way to connect with communities in a location you've never been to before. So my advice would be like, again, think about what your dream is, what your dream industry is, and find somebody online who is doing your dream. So obviously for me, that was Lou Teasdale. She was like a hair and makeup artist. She worked at Bleach London, and it just made sense for me to connect with her. And yeah, and that's how I was able to make that connection, have an you know, be able to have an internship when I first got here when I was a student. And that was just obviously like totally life-changing for me. So like my advice to you, you know, if you want to do hair and live in LA, you should be tagging Jen Atkin. You should be, you know, creating posts and tagging Maine Addict or Way. You know, get in her eye line. Like if you can at least get to, you know, some of her hairstylists on staff, like you're halfway there. I think it's just so important to connect through social media. And I'm so thankful that I did. Again, I didn't even realize this is what I was doing. I was just having fun in my bedroom. Now I look back on it and I'm like, girl, you little networker, you. Like, I'm just so stoked that that is what like 21-year-old me decided to do. So yeah, so when I moved over here, obviously, I just threw myself into the industry. Everything that I had dreamt about doing, I did. You know, I worked London Fashion Week. Here are some photos from my first few years doing London Fashion Week. I actually had a DM from a girl called Reagan over the weekend. She didn't even know I was filming this video, and she just had some questions about moving to London. And so I thought like I would take the time doing this video and answer a few of her questions. So she asked if I had any culture shock. And it's so funny because I'm from Maine, and I feel like from Portland, from New England, I feel like if there's one place in America that's the most like England, it's obviously New England. So I didn't really have a lot of culture shock. There's some stuff like I feel like that does surprise me. I'm trying to think of like an example. Okay, for some reason, the only thing that is coming to my head is that they sometimes call ketchup tomato sauce, and it just really like grosses me out. There were definitely things that made me homesick, and definitely things that I was just like, oh my God, these people do things so weirdly. But for the most part, I didn't really experience culture shock. Was it hard to find your place there? Yeah, I would say that it took about like 3 months, to find my place. And again, like I really threw myself into the niche that is Bleach. And you know, I think that really helped me find my place and find friends. My like very best friend who I've made here, who is in my wedding, is Paige. And, you know, we became friends within the first few months of me moving here. But it did definitely take like a few months to really find my place. And I think that's true of anywhere or anything. Like it's never going to be instant, and you have to put in like the time and the work. Okay, my husband helps me edit these videos, and the amount I fiddle with my hair, he's gonna just about kill me, but it's awesome. Okay, she also asked, was it hard to find my job at Iconic? I had known about the brand already. I had worked with it at Bleach in the book agency. So I already knew the brand and I already knew how amazing the products were. So as soon as that job popped up, I was like, that's going to be my job. That's where I'm going to work. And yeah, so it was only the second job I applied to, and I had an interview and I got it. Again, I really think like you just have to get yourself in a mind place of like positivity and confidence, and it did just fall into place for me, which was just amazing. Okay, and then she asked, were there any moments you regretted the move to London, even for a split second? I don't know if regret is the right word. I definitely was homesick for the first like 5 months. I would call home crying. I would call like my mom, my brother. Like I was just like a baby about being homesick. But in a weird way, I never like regretted it or wanted to be home. It was just like, it's just a feeling of like, of being totally overwhelmed, being in a totally new place, and just a true feeling of like homesickness. Which I can still experience now. I have new dreams, you know, I don't have this like dream perfect life or anything now, but the things I dreamed of then, you know, the things you do dream about when you're like 20, like, you know, finding a guy and working a job you love. Like I've done those things, you know, and and that's really cool. I have new dreams. I have new aspirations that I don't have yet. But the things I dreamt about when I was 20, I have. So I feel nothing but like gratitude and just happiness that I made the decision to move here. Okay, so yeah, those were her questions, which were so cute that she even DM'd me asking those. I hope that I helped answer some of you guys' questions. I do get asked a lot in my DMs, like on Instagram, just about the move and about how I did it. And I hope that I offered some like tangible advice for you all. It's really scary, like going after your dreams, but I do totally believe that, you know, the world is made up of energy. What you put out comes back, you know, comes back to you. So if you have any more questions, please feel free to comment down below. And if you guys are like this style video, like we could do this again if you have more questions, and I can do my best to answer them. I hope you guys like this video. Please comment, like, and subscribe. And this is just like your sign to go after your dreams, okay? No dream is too big, no dream is too scary. Start talking about those dreams, start visualizing, create that mood board, and start making those sacrifices to achieve those dreams. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I will see you next time. Bye!